Hi, I'm Ruby from Little Angel Theatre, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these Danish heart decorations that you can hang from your Christmas tree. So to make this craft, you'll need a pair of scissors, a pencil, some PVA glue and 2 sheets of A4 that are a different colour. And you'll also need a piece of scrap paper to make the template, which is what we're going to do first. You can use card for this if you want something that's a bit more sturdy, because we will be drawing around it. So if you have card, feel free to use that, but paper is also fine. Doesn't matter which colour it is. We're just going to start by drawing kind of a long shape that has a circular top and straight sides. And we're also going to draw 3 lines in the middle, so just one straight down the centre and then one at either side. And now we're going to cut out the shape. So cut around the edge and cut along the lines that we've drawn in the centre. Now we're going to take our colours that we're using for the heart. So traditionally it is red and white that is used, but you can use any colour that you like. I'm going to use pink and brown for my first one. So we're just going to fold these ones in half like we did for our template. And now we're going to take our template and place it on top and draw around it. So draw along the outside and along the lines that we drew in the middle as well. We're just going to go ahead and cut these out the same that we did the template. They should be able to open like this with lines down the centre. And now we're going to start our weaving technique. This might be easier for you to watch rather than be explained, but basically what we're going to try and do is have our colour on the right for the first row is going to go in between our colour on the left, and then once we get to the second strip, the colour on the left is going to go in between the colour on the right. And moving on to the third strip, we're going to do again the colour on the right going in between the colour on the left. And now for the last one, the colour on the left is going to go in between the colour on the right. So that's the first row done. And now moving on to the second row, it's going to be alternate. So for the first one, the colour on the left is going to go in between the colour on the right. And then for the next one, we're going to put the colour on the right in between the colour on the left. So this is going to create kind of a checkerboard effect. So because we're using paper, it can be quite delicate. So try and be as gentle as possible, just because we don't want to rip the decoration. So you can see on the third one, we're now going the colour on the right in between the colour on the left. And for the second one, the colour on the left will be going in between the colour on the right. This is definitely something that gets easier with practice. Don't worry if the first time you find it a bit difficult or a bit confusing. Maybe practice on some scrap bits of paper first. I definitely did this several times off camera first, so don't worry if it takes you a minute to get the hang of it. I'm going to be doing a couple more after this one in the video, so you will actually see that I get progressively better. It's definitely something that takes time and a bit of practice, but not a huge amount. Once you've made a few, you'll just be in the swing of it. And now for the last row, we're going to do the colour on the left going in between the colour on the right. Just as you're going, kind of move up the other strips to make room for the strips that are being weaved in. Once you get onto the last row, it might be a little bit more difficult to manoeuvre the strips of paper just because the previous 3 will be kind of tied up. And now just slotting in the final one. So the final one on this is the colour on the right going in between the colour on the left. And that's our first heart put together. I want to shuffle up the rows a little bit, just make sure it's nicely lined up. And because it's weaved, it should open up into a little basket. Now I'm just going to take a scrap that we cut out, one of our colours, it doesn't matter which one, and just make a little handle for it to hang onto. So I'm going to cut the piece in half. And just apply a small amount of PVA onto each side. And then you can slot it in between the 2 sides. Make sure it's nice and firm in the middle. Because it does open up into a basket, you can pop something in there. I'm going to put some chocolate coins in mine. So when you hang it on the tree, you fancy a snack, you can just go into there. And that's our first Danish heart. So now I'm going to move on to the second one. I'm going to use some different colours for this one. On this one I'm using brown and cream. And I'm just going to fold these papers in half and do the same thing we did for the previous colours. So use the template to go around and then cut it out. And then we can start the weaving again. So again, we're going to put the colour on the right in between the colour on the left, and then the colour on the left in between the colour on the right. Moving on to the third leg, the colour on the right in between the colour on the left, and then for the last one, the colour on the left in between the colour on the right. Trust me, it does get easier the more you do it. This one might be a little bit clearer for you to see because by this point I have got a little bit better, so doing it a little bit more quickly. Just securing the last piece on our second heart, and that's it done together. Just going to pull it a little bit to make sure everything's in place. And there we go, we've made another little basket. So I'm going to make a little handle for it again. So just taking one of the colours we used and making a little strap for it. Stick that one together, just wipe away any excess glue. And I'm just going to pop in some more chocolate coins. And that's our second one done. So this next one I'm going to be running through a little bit more quickly, but I'm going to be using the same pieces of paper to cut out more shapes for this one. So this one I'm using cream and pink. Starting the weaving again. This one is a little bit more sped up, but you should still be able to see the way that I'm slotting the pieces between each other. But this is the nice thing about this craft. You can probably fit about 3 shapes into an A4 sheet, so you can have fun experimenting with different colours. I think most colours look good weaved together, but you can have a little play around and decide which ones that you want to use. And that's our third heart done. This time I'm just going to go and rub out any little pencil marks that are left, just to make the heart a little bit neater. I'm going to make a little strap for this one as well. I'm going to throw a couple of chocolate coins in for later. And then just put on a little bit of PVA. Or a lot of PVA. And if you may have all your chocolate coins fall out. Wipe away any excess glue. Put the strap back into place. This is why you should do the strap before you fill it with anything. Wait a couple of minutes for the glue to dry. Don't do what I did. And there's our third heart. And there we go. We have 3 beautiful hearts we can hang on the tree. I hope you've enjoyed this craft. Have a wonderful Christmas.